the crime-fighting duo of Styggy and Stego. Styggy and Stego, Styggy and Stego. One's hard-headed, the other one's got a lot on their plates. Together, they bad dinos beware of Styggy and Stego. Greetings, Gothamites, and welcome back to the channel. I am the Crowlector, and as you can see, we will be taking a look today at the Jurassic World Hammond Collection, Stegosaurus and Stygimoloch. As you can see, they have already escaped containment, so give me just a moment while I track them down. Thank you. First up with the packaging, you get the nice, classic, bespoke Hammond collection box. I like the kind of quasi redesign we've had, especially with like the bigger boxes, which almost look like storage containers or something to keep these dastardly dinos in. It'd be fun if they worked in some sort of like shipping container vibe to go with like Chaos Theory or the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom when they're being given to the evil billionaires, but they're nice, and I know not everyone is a fan of the newer like dino designs on them. I, for one, don't really mind them. For the most part, I think they show off the dino well. I like that we're getting a little bit more of like, it's almost the concept art versus like the toy art, which we get on the back. And here we have our new dino editions, but as you can see, they ran into a little bit of trouble in the cloning facility and are a little bit incomplete. So, as with any of these Hammond collection reviews, we have to, first and foremost, say it with me all, plug that. But first, we're going to plug the Stygimoloch. He has his hole hanging out, that kooky Styggy. And we're going to listen for that nice, satisfying click. Ah, yeah, much better, Styggy. And the big boy himself, or big girl herself, the Stegosaurus. Let's stuff that Stego. Ah, yeah, that's what we're talking about. And now that they're complete and ready for action, we have the crime-fighting duo of Styggy and Stego. Styggy and Stego.
Try and keep up, old man. I'm getting too old for this.
We'll start off small with our hard-headed Stygimoloch here. I'm very excited to get more herbivores in the line, or even just omnivores. And Stygimoloch was, at least what feels like, one of the first times we got like a new marketed good dinosaur. Obviously all the Jurassic movies have the big bad that they push, but I remember there being a really big push behind the Stygimoloch as well. And they did have a nice hero moment in the film, rescuing the group from the little makeshift prison cells they were in, just bashing its head into the wall, as I feel like we all feel like doing from time to time. While it has a relatively simple body, the head itself is very, very well detailed. Obviously, the nice, light, kind of sandy, tan color really, really pops against the rest of it, which is that dark, kind of brownish red. Get a little bit more tan on the underbelly, though. But, of course, being a dino that just bashes its head into things, you need some good articulation. And luckily, this is able to look down, which I feel like should be a feature for most, if not all, of the dinos in the Hammond collection, but as we saw in the Raptor review, not all of them can look down. But you even still get a nice bit of upward movement as well. You can look side to side, and we do see the return of the hinged jaw, which is very nice. No teeth on this guy. Being an herbivore, he doesn't need much teeth to gnash and rip and tear. He just needs to chomp berries and sip his smoothies and eat his kale salads, because that's how Styggy does it. He does have teeny tiny little arms here, but I like the way that they sit. Like, he kind of looks like he's just like ready to put him up. Like he's an old-timey boxer. I get to see like a big handlebar mustache on him here. And luckily, for having such small arms, they're not very loose at the elbow, which again, I'm really glad they're tightening them up. But he has the sort of classic 90-degree elbows. He can attempt to fly, not do a very good job, but luckily he has a hard head to cushion his landing. I do think, if I remember correctly from the movie, the correct way, quote unquote, is a little bit like expectant, kind of like that. Then he has the nice ball joint at the bottom of the neck, your classic rotating legs. They are, because of the way his stomach kind of sticks out a little bit, this one does catch a little bit more as you're turning it. So naturally, you're really not going to get much movement beyond there. But if for any reason you do need him to hike a leg, maybe if he's taking a leak, you certainly can. And similar to the raptor and the Troodon, you really don't get much movement at the knee, but it does make up for it with a really nicely articulated foot. No sickle claw, of course, because he don't roll like that. Regularly gets his pedicures, Stygimoloch, so he doesn't need all that. He does have a nice tail bend as well, just to add a little bit more character. And then, of course, the signature glass eye, which this one, much darker, but sort of like an amber color. And of course, being a 2025 Jurassic toy, worry not, fret not, because even though he looks very dangerous, they are a softer plastic. He would not dare hurt. I mean, this would still hurt if it poked you in the eye, but he's not going to gore you as he would a predator. We'll show him next to, I would assume they're at least like cousins somewhere along the line, but the Pachycephalosaurus from the Lost World Jurassic Park. This very much looks like kind of the older, balding uncle of the Stygimoloch. The Stygimoloch is like, oh man, Dad, you're so cool, you'll never understand me. And then the Pachy's like, no, son, we have to use our head for good. We can't just go bashing into things all the time. Oh, but that's all I want to do. I just want to bash and bang and boom. Be careful, son. You'll poke your eye out. Aw, Dad. Very similar skull spots there. I'm sure there's a term for it, but kind of looking like the, like in Finding Dory, where they had the fish with like the receding hairline. It very much feels like that. Like they feel like they should be related. So I'm sure somewhere along the line they see each other. Maybe like at family reunions, they see each other from time to time. Much smaller hands than the Pachycephalosaurus, and slightly smaller feet as well, although I don't know if that's just because of the line itself and kind of the changes they've been making to these figures and sort of tightening the proportions. But very, very nice. Some really nice paintwork on this guy, almost like a much darker version of the Tiger Raptor, but those little bits of tan do really, really add to it. So while I wouldn't necessarily have put this one pretty high up on my want list, I'm very glad we got it. We do, I think, desperately need some more herbivores. And speaking of herbivores,
Oh my
we
God!
have what was, and might still very well be, my favorite as a kid. The Stegosaurus and the Parasaurolophus have always held a special place in my heart. And the Parasaurolophus, second only to really like the T-Rex and the Raptor, is kind of like the herbivore mascot for the Jurassic series. It's been in every single movie so far, even just in like little cameos in the back. We have not gotten as many Stego appearances, however, which I would really like to see rectified in the next one. We've really only gotten like the one big Stego scene in Lost World Jurassic Park. The only really like action scene with them. So I'd like to see them make a comeback, maybe like take on one of the carnivores with its tail to really see like a true fight. But I am so psyched that we finally have the Stego in the Hammond collection. And I gotta say, what a long time coming this one was. I mean, the Stegosaurus is like one of the classic dinosaurs. Like when you think of dinosaurs, even before Jurassic Park, the Stegosaurus was one of the most well known. And honestly, I mean, what kid did not like the Stegosaurus? In terms of herbivores, I mean, this one is like the most kind of action oriented with the armor plates, the cool club tail. I mean, what is not to love? Now, I have not picked up the baby Stegosaurus yet. I really should. But I was waiting for this one to come out in the meantime, so now I gotta try and track down that baby. Now, I did have the bebe Stegosaurus from the Sarah Harding set, the Legacy Collection set, as well as the adult Stegosaurus that came with that. But of course, as soon as they announced that they were making a Hammond collection, out with the old, in with the new. I mean, this was the one that I was essentially just waiting for. And luckily, they made it pretty much the exact same. Color scheme, everything. And as far as the color scheme goes, this has long been one of my favorite just color schemes in general. Not only just on dinos, but the greens and the browns. I love those kind of cool earth tones. So visually, this is like such an ultimate cool dino to me. But yeah, you get the nice kind of dark greens that kind of sort of fade into a lighter green, and then onto the earthy sand colors.
I don't like sand.
For the underside there, excuse us as we take a look at its Stegosaurus, if you will. I think that's the scientific term, the Stegosaurus. Does of course utilize the nice Hammond collection glass eye, the pirate. Yar, me glass eye. A nice kind of orangey brown. You get a nice ball-jointed head on this guy. Now, a lot of people are really bummed that there is no mouth articulation, and it is a bit of a bummer. This Stegosaurus can never eat. It could only eat through a straw, I suppose. I guess I can see why they did that. I mean, this is it's a small head in general, but it would be a very small lower jaw there, so I could see it breaking off pretty easily. It's not the biggest deal. It still looks quite nice. Can I help you? And a nice, at least on mine, pretty tight neck joint as well. You do get a fair amount of side to side, as well as some up and down. Of course, it's going to get stopped by those plates there, but it's still kind of graze upon the ground. Or Sarah's like taking a picture. It could be like, excuse me, turn off the cameras, dead ass. Or it could scold its baby, whatever you want. From there, you have your pretty typical leg articulation on these bigger figures there. It does not go all the way around. I'm sure maybe it could, but I don't want to risk breaking it. Because of the sort of skin overflap there, it stops it about yay high. But then you do get the knee articulation and the foot, although mine are, you get a nice swivel, but to push them up, it's a little bit stuck there. But it can give a nice dino high five. Other side, of course, articulated the same, slightly thicker hollow plastic on the back legs, whereas these are kind of a thicker plastic. But hollow, get that sort of little bit of stance, give a ratchet joint, the knee, and the foot. Now, there's no like articulation on the plates here. Of course, that I think would be overkill. It's not needed at all, but they are a nice thinner plastic. So even though if you were to bash this into somebody's face, it would definitely hurt.
Hey, you guys! Oh my no!
Hey, you guys.
It's not gonna like slice you open or anything, I don't think, and it's not gonna break off as well. You might want to be a little bit careful if a kid is handling this because they are separate little pieces inserted, so I could see them get ripped off over time. And then the tail, well, you don't need to turn it upside down for any reason, but it can, and it's on a nice ball joint. A thicker bendy wire inside, but you do get a little bit of back and forth. This one, I guess just because it is a little bit thicker, it doesn't hold the shape as well as you can see. You let it go, let it go, and it kind of moves back into place. But it's still a decent amount. Go down pretty well, drag along the ground, but you don't get a whole lot of upward movement. This is about as much as you get. It is also a slightly squishier plastic sleeve than some of the other ones, which is much more rubbery. So I'm interested to see how it holds up over time. I'm sure it's going to be quite a while before it really starts breaking down. Interesting to note. I don't know why on this one, especially because Stegosauruses are known for using their tail as a combat thing. I don't know why they made the plastic or the rubber like a little bit softer here. But regardless, it feels very, very sturdy, very steady. Get a nice little wash here as well, sort of like it's been kind of rolling in the mud, taking a bath, or like the Stego twerk. Stego. Stego. It's been taking a little nap. It's lounging in the dirt. Anyway, it gets the same salon treatment that the other Hammond collection does with its little toe beams there. Very, very nice. You can certainly get some good action poses out of this. And this is another classic dino off the list. I think really the only ones that we're missing now in the Hammond collection, maybe the Pteranodon? Again, I would really love to see a return to form for the Stegosaurus in the movies. I feel like we're really overdue for another feature, a good action scene with it. Same with the Triceratops. We never really gotten much in the way of like a Triceratops action scene. They get a little bit of a feature in Lost World Jurassic Park, same with Stego, where they cause a little bit of ruckus. Here we have two very, very classic dinos finally reunited, both of whom are overdue for a feature in whatever Jurassic movie we get next. So hopefully we'll see some more from them. I'd really love to see more of a feature on the herbivores. I know, the carnivores is where the danger is at, but let's give some love to the herbivores as well, like the Ankylosaurus. I would argue, actually, the Ankylosaurus has gotten a bit more of a feature than maybe the Stegosaurus and the Triceratops. Very, very nice as well with the tail. I think I might break my rule. Like, I really love the segmented tail for the Ankylosaur. I think something similar for the Stegosaur could have been really, really cool. Not that I don't love this one, but maybe like a segment between each of the plates could have been really, really cool. I don't know how it would have affected the sculpt, and I'm sure it would have affected the price. And then I had to bring out the Parasaurolophus just to have my two favorite herbies next to each other. Really, really cool seeing them together at last. The inner and outer dino nerd, my young self, would be just beside himself right now with joy at having such detailed, honestly, like perfect versions of his favorite herbivore dinosaurs. If I had been able to play with these as a kid, who knows? I might have turned out fairly normal. But yeah, that'll about do it for everyone's favorite crime-fighting duo, Stiggy and a Stego.
Styggy and Stego.
Let me know what dinosaur you guys would like to see, specifically an herbivore. What herbivore would you like to see next in the Hammond collection? Let me know in the comments below. And also, let me know if Styggy and Stego were a real Jurassic spin-off. Who would you relate to more, the young, hard-headed Styggy or the grizzled old cop Stego? Who knows? Maybe we'll actually see a Styggy and Stego spin-off one day.
Styggy and Stego.
I will be back soon with more creepy Crowlection content, but in the meantime, stay spookies.